I've woken up in the morning. I'm ready to drive. Do I just take my car onto the road? What do I need before I get to the road? My name is Dominic Adair, and welcome to RICHWAY Driving School. You see, to be able to get onto the road and make sure your car functions well, you must perform what we call the daily routine checks. You see, with these checks, there are certain things in the car you must consider. To help us remember, we've given it the acronym POWER. POWER. Our P stands for check on your petrol or fuel level. You see, the car runs on the petrol or the fuel. Fuel here means it can be diesel, it can be gas, or it can be electricity. So check on the fuel level because wherever the fuel gets finished, the car will just stop there. So to make sure that you have enough fuel in your car, in the morning, look at your gauge. Because you see, somebody will say, oh, the fuel level, it doesn't matter. But you see, it's not everywhere that you can get a filling station. There are some places when you get to, it's difficult to see or find a filling station. So for those places, if you don't plan your journey and you get there, you are going to be get stranded. You may think, oh, now there are filling stations everywhere. Let me give you a practical example. Assuming you are coming from La Paz with the aim of going to Tema. You see, after the Achimota overhead, there are no filling stations all through Jowulu. There are no filling stations all through the motorway. There are no filling stations. So, as a driver, if you don't plan your journey and you are there, you get to the middle of the motorway and your fuel gets finished. What will you do? Is it now that you are going to pick a car back to Accra for fuel or pick the car to Tema to go for fuel? If you do that and you leave your car alone, if you are not careful, by the time you come, somebody may have ransacked your car. So, as a driver, you must make sure that always you check on the level of your fuel. Our O means check on your oils. You see, there are some oils in the car which ensures that the moving parts of the car, which are mostly metals, move freely without rubbing against each other. You see, when metals rub against each other, it produces friction, and the friction promotes wear and tear. So, to make sure that does not happen, that's why there are some oils we put in the car, and the oils are not just one fit all. Each component and the type of oil we put there. The first one we'll consider is the engine oil. There is an oil which is put into the engine which ensures that the engine is well lubricated. This oil in the morning you have to check on it. The manufacturers has provided something we call the dipstick. In the morning you have to remove your dipstick and check on the level of oil you have in the car. If the level is close to the maximum point, is good. But if it's falling below the maximum point, then you must get oil to top it up. But the engine oil is not just that I have an engine oil in my car and so it's forever I have an engine oil. No. The engine oil as a driver, you must change it from time to time. And it depends on the type of oil you are using. Some oils you have to change them monthly, some you have to change them every 3 months. So when you go to the lube bay for them to change your oil, ask them the type of oil they use and when you are supposed to come back for the next change. Mostly, if you go on a long journey, it's recommended that when you return, the best thing is to change your oil. And those who are commercial drivers, it's not advisable to be changing your oil in 3 months' time. No, monthly will be good. You see, because you use your car a lot of times, so the car is always running. So the earlier you change the oil, you see that when you change the oil, your engine even sounds better. So changing the oil is very important. That is the engine oil. We also have what we call the brake fluid. You see, the brake fluid, what it does is that it helps the brake system to function effectively. When you don't have enough in your car and you step on your brakes, the brakes may not function effectively. So, as a driver, you must make sure you have enough brake fluid in your car so that it will be able to function effectively. There is a pot that we put the brake fluid in it, so you can just open the top and look at it, and you will see if the level is enough. Then we have what we call the power steering oil or the hydraulic oil. You see, the power steering oil, what it does is that it helps the power steering system to function effectively. One may ask, what is the power steering system? The power steering system is the system that enables you to turn your steer freely whilst you are driving. You see, when you are driving, the full weight of the car is on the tires. So to be able to turn it, you may have needed a lot of energy. So to make it easier for you to drive, that is why they provided the power steering system. So as you turn, the power steering system kicks in and helps you to turn the steer freely. So you have to make sure that that system is well lubricated. So as a driver, if I'm driving and all of a sudden my steering system is becoming hard, one of the first things I must check on is my power steering system. If I check and the oil is enough, then maybe the motor itself is malfunctioning. So that is the power steering oil. Then we have what we call the transmission oil or the gearbox oil. As a driver, you must make sure you have enough transmission oil in your car to make sure that when you are changing your gears, or even in an automatic car, when the car is changing the gears, it does that smoothly. What is the purpose of the transmission? The transmission is what determines the speed and the direction at which the car is moving. So that is the work of the transmission oil. Then we are moving on to our W. Our W stands for check on your water or coolant level. You see, water is very important in the car. In the engine, what normally takes place, we say combustion. Combustion simply means burning. Any place where there's constant burning, with time, the place will become hot. So if nothing is done to regulate the temperature, the thing will catch fire. So that is why we put water in our car. The water we put in our car goes to cool down the engine. But once it does that, it returns back into the water tank or the radiator where that water is being cooled. The water is cooled by something we call the fan. Every car has a fan. What the fan does is it blows air, and the air is channeled into the water tank to cool the water, and the cold water returns to cool the engine, and it returns back to be cooled by the fan. So that system of the fan cooling the water cooling the engine, that is what ensures that your car does not become overheated. So in case anything should happen to break this system, that is when you say your car has overheated. Sometimes it may be that you didn't have enough water, or it may be that the fan stopped working. So as a driver in the morning, you must make sure that you have enough water in the car. So I said water or coolant because some people don't use water. We have a special chemical we call the coolant, which also helps to cool down the engine. And the benefit of the coolant is that it doesn't promote rusting. So you see, sometimes the water you may be putting in your car may have a high salt content. So the high salt content can cause your engine and some sensitive part of the car to rust. So if you can afford the coolant, it's a better option. So that is it for our W, our water. It helps to cool down our engine. Then we have our E. When you get to the E, what we are saying is that check on the electrical parts of the car. There are some electrical parts which are important that you monitor in the morning. For example, check to see that your battery terminals are well fitted. You see, if your battery terminals are not well fitted, it can pull up power for you to restart your engine. You see, even though the engine, once it's working, has the power to move the car, the engine will not start on its own. It needs something to kick it into motion. So for something to kick it in motion, that's why we have the starter motor. The work is to kick the engine into motion. But the starter motor is just like the fan in your house. It needs a source of electricity, a source of power to start it. And that is what the battery does. So make sure your battery terminals are well committed so that they can pull power to start the car. Apart from your battery, you must also check on your lights, especially if you'll be coming back in the evening. You see, the big thing you see in front of the car is a case. And always, all the time, there are small bulbs inside, even though now some are LED. So the small bulbs you must monitor. If it's not working, you pass through the mechanic shop and get an auto electrician to change it for you. Because if you don't do that, in the evening when you want to come home and you turn on your key and turn on your light, the light will not function. So check your headlights, check your indicator lights, your trafficators, check on your brake light and all of that to make sure your lights are functioning well. Then also, especially in the rainy season, you must also check on your wipers because you see the wiper is connected to a fuse. The fuse can blow at any time. So as a driver, you must monitor the wipers to see that it is working. If not, once it starts raining, wherever you are, you'll be stranded. So also, you can also check on the horn to make sure your horn is sounding. So these are all some electrical parts of the car that you can monitor in the morning. So your battery, your lights, your wipers, your horn, you can check on all of this to make sure they are functioning well. Our R means check on the rubber part of the car. And with this, we are referring to our tires. In the morning, it's always better to go around the car and look at the level of air in each of your tires. This will ensure that your car moves freely and it moves well. So if you check and the level of air is low, then it means you must pass through the vulcanizing shop to get them to top up the level of air. But assuming I pump my tire today, by tomorrow it's down again, then it tells you there is a leakage somewhere. So you have to send it back to the vulcanizing shop, and this time they'll remove it and put it in water. Once they put it in water, they'll be able to determine where the leakage is. If it is small, they can fix it for you and you keep using it. But if it is big, you may have to throw away the tire and buy a new one. So as a driver, you must always monitor your tires. So these are the things I want to bring to your attention, that in the morning you must monitor them before you take your car onto the road. You check on the level of your fuel, you check on the oils in the car, you check on your water, you check on the electrical parts, and you check on the rubber part. And I think I mentioned it in passing that the oils are not one fit all. It's not like the same oil, I put some in the engine, I put some in the brake pot, I put some in the power steering, I put some in the gearbox. No, each of them have their unique oil. So when you go to the filling station or you go to the shop to buy the oil, you must tell them the one you want. So you must say, I want an engine oil. Don't just say, I want oil. I want an engine oil. I want a brake fluid. I want a power steering oil. I want a transmission oil, because each of them has a different use. Somebody asked me, why don't we put the same oil in all the pots? The reason is that you see, each of the pots has different temperatures, and the oils too have their properties. So depending on the temperature of that component, that is why that oil has been designed for it. So it depends. So each can take different oil. The power steering oil cannot stand the heat in the engine, so you can't replace the engine oil with the power steering oil. So this is where I will end my session for today. We hope to continue, and you can revisit some of our old videos to help you improve your driving and your understanding about preparing your car. This is Richway Driving School. If you want to register with us, kindly WhatsApp us on 0242 151659. 0242 151659. So we send you a link for you to register online. See you in our next class. Bye bye.